I'm Mike Greenberg, and our opening tip is a simple play. Will whoever stole Kevin Durant please bring him back?
Thunderstruck 2 in theaters near you. Now, if you've missed the latest installment, just check this video out because we're gonna get into how we got to this point.
Irving going to work, pulls up, foul on the board, picks up his dribble, dangerous pass, knocked away.
First, we're going to look into the first game of this series where you could see Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving right away struggling, turning over the ball, and the game may look close to you at this point, but you could see the Celtics defense taking shape right away.
Kevin Durant gets inside, stripped again. That's his second turnover.
The Celtics game plan is simple but very difficult to execute, making KD's shot very uncomfortable for him to shoot, making it so that every time he shoots the ball there's a hand up or there's somebody there to just make it slightly uncomfortable to where he turns it over.
Durant trying to get himself going. Here he stumbles, turns it over again.
Teams do this a lot where they try to contain the main guy so that he knows the others that have to win you the games, and you could see Steph Curry right here. Did I say Steph? I mean Seth, making the three-pointer right there.
What a start for Seth Curry. He's 3 for 3.
I guess I messed up there because KD did team up with Steph Curry, and it really does look like this year he really needed Steph Curry to facilitate for him. Now the others, they did a great job at trying to get points up in the board, and Kevin Durant, well, he still was struggling, and you could see it there.
He's such a steadying influence for him.
Durant, his jumper's off early.
So it may be a close game at the moment, but the Celtics are clearly winning the matchups against Kevin Durant.
Durant inside.
Ramadan Karim to a certain Kyrie Irving, because in the second half he did go off. He shot freeze after freeze, and he did make us Muslims proud with the effort he's put in.
Kyrie Irving with some excellent defense. That's actually his 5th steal of the afternoon. Puts up a 3, puts it in.
Now, it even started to rub off on KD at this point, and he made a three-pointer, and you could see the Celtics were beginning to panic. Look, the Nets were a pretty good team with Kyrie, and you had the Celtics fans, you know, just trying to drive him crazy. Kyrie doing some haram things right there, but, you know, it is what it is. Those fans deserved it.
Irving drives on Tatum, gets inside, blows past and lays it in.
I mean, the Celtics fans, they should have just kept quiet. Kyrie Irving just went off rampage, three-pointers. I mean, this guy was trying to win this game at Boston, and you know what they say, a series begins with, come on KD, what kind of shot was that? Now, as I said, the series begins with
Irving against Tatum on the drive, the pull-up, double clutch is good.
Series begins when the road team wins a game, and you could see that Kevin Durant was now getting some bounces. Kyrie Irving was making shots, and it was a 3-point lead now. Jaylen Brown right here, fasting as well. MashaAllah, now he puts a 2-pointer in, it's a 1-point game. Kevin Durant can ice the game right here, tries to put up a dagger, misses it badly.
Jaylen Brown kicks it out, Smart fakes, inside, Tatum spins, and he puts it in. Celtics go up by 1.
So now that we went through game 1 and the mistakes that have happened, let's just go through a little bit of a history lesson, and also subscribe if you like the video. Klay Thompson, you remember this game 6 Klay when he made 3-pointers after 3-pointers to make it a series where they were down 3-2 and Klay Thompson had to will their way to a win.
And that is an NBA record, his 10th three-pointer of the night.
And to those who don't know, the OKC Thunder were leading the series 3-1, and the Golden State Warriors, this was the 2016 Warriors, yeah, they came back and won the series.
And he fires. Yes!
Honestly, quite an embarrassing loss if you're looking at it from OKC's standpoint, but also, you know, there's still some time left for this team to try to find themselves in a championship position to win it. I mean, what is Kevin Durant doing? Wait, this isn't right. Did KD really just go to the team that beat them in the series?
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it.
In my opinion, folks, this is where it began. This is where his legacy took a hit. And this is where I think it was tarnished. It was really tarnished, and a lot of people, it didn't sit right with them that he would go to a team this great, this stacked, and it was a weak move. I agree with Stephen A.
I think it's incredibly weak, and I don't want to hear any comparisons to that of LeBron James when LeBron James left Cleveland for South Beach.
And just to let you know, this is the Warriors team last season that made history, winning the most games.
It's official, number 73.
At this point, many people just had many questions in their minds.
Then we like, well, what Russ got to say about That's what we are. What Russ finna say about this shit?
Now, we'll get into that when the time comes, but right now, Kevin Durant is emotional.
Curry, 3, bang!
As inevitable as this was, the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant now ended up winning a championship. They're second in the last 3 years at this point, and it would become a straight up dynasty at this point, as in 2018 they would also win their third in 4 years.
There's the buzzer. There's a new dynasty in the NBA.
But things would turn to the worst next year.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping.
Unfortunately, he tore his Achilles tendon, and Raptors fans, man, I'm a Raptors fan myself. This was very sad to see.
They don't like to hear the fans cheering.
I'm surprised by that.
Very classless display from the fans, but I promise you, Toronto, we're nice people. Now, Kevin Durant, he did end up going back to the locker room, and this would be the end.
The thing about the Warriors, they were very alarmed after winning 2 titles that Durant didn't seem to have the joy.
Now, Kevin Durant would part ways with the Warriors and try to be the face of a new franchise, this time being the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving would be his partner in crime, and Stephen A. Smith disclosed some very interesting information.
According to what I have been told, the night before Kevin Durant flew to the Hamptons, Kevin Durant had dinner with Russell Westbrook and literally looked Russell Westbrook in the face and told him, I'm not leaving. And then went to the Hamptons and announced that he was going to Golden State.
I don't know if this has ever happened on live television, but somebody wasn't happy.
Kevin Durant reached out, said, it's BS what I'm saying.
It seemed like Kevin Durant at this point wasn't trying to win championships. He was just trying to find himself.
Guess what? I am someone who is more than just a basketball player, and just winning is not enough. I thought it was going to be enough to make me happy, but it wasn't.
But ironically, this would end up turning into a curse, as he wouldn't be the only one.
And he was very candid about
Who else
that.
won and wasn't fulfilled? Kyrie Irving.
I just thought I'd highlight that because that was a very interesting point made by Brian here. Now, this argument that KD and Draymond had, a lot of people thought this was the start of the strained relationship that Kevin Durant had between the Warriors and Draymond Green, and you could see he also had an interview about this, and he answered to all of those questions.
Yeah, I wish that wouldn't have happened. I feel like that was a situation that definitely could have been avoided.
I'm glad Stephen A. kept hunting for the real answer to this question.
Did that play a role in you leaving Golden State?
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm getting sidetracked with this whole saga. Let's just get into game 2, as we've seen something that we hadn't seen before. Bruce Brown really playing well and KD not so much.
In transition, Durant almost losing the dribble, gets it back.
Now I'm going to be more fair this time. I'm not just going to show misses like this one, but also makes like this one from KD. I mean, he did make some shots, okay? But still, the turnovers were rampant in this game.
Irving draws the double. Smart one team all over him. And Brooklyn.
This would be something that we would see every time. But this time KD would clean things up and he would create a run right here.
Durant with his first points of the second quarter. And he's on his way. And
Now the Brooklyn Nets had a 17-point lead despite turning the ball over like here. And it did seem like they learned a thing or two from game 1. But still, you see the clock, you see the score. The Boston Celtics would make a run of their own right here with a free.
Tatum, three-pointer on its way.
This second half, man, the Brooklyn Nets really just threw the game away. I mean, look at these threes and just look at how bad some of these shots are from Kevin Durant. I mean, jeez.
Kyrie Irving finds Durant. And now it's Jaylen Brown on the pick.
6 turnovers, 4 of 17 in the game. This would be Kevin Durant's worst output in the series thus far. I mean, come on, man. This is just bad.
But he's absolutely right what he said to Stephanie. He's seeing a crowd as he turns it over again.
Tatum on the run out.
Okay, the Celtics were beginning to come back. It was a 7-point game at this point. Kevin Durant just cannot get his offense going. Trying his very best, but he just can't hit those shots. It was so bad that he even missed free throws.
Foul shots in the game. And his first miss. Durant, a 91% free throw shooter. He missed them both.
Kevin Durant shot 4 of 7 in the first half. Do you want to know how much he shot in the second? Well, I'll tell you. 0 of 10. Yes, 0 of 10. He did not make a single field goal, and he shot only 10 field goals in that second half with 4 turnovers in that second half. Oh boy, oh boy.
Here's Durant, blocked by Tatum.
Now, 0 of 10, you could imagine 10 missed shots, but it's better to see them in, full display right here. I mean, this is bad. And Kyrie Irving, well, he didn't help too much, shooting 1 of 7 in that second half.
And now Tice trying to get Boston some big minutes in crunch time here. Durant rises up for 3, misses again.
Kevin Durant fans, please avert your eyes and ears if you don't want to listen to the truth. Kevin Durant, he caused all this along with Kyrie Irving as well.
We play a system I don't imagine changing a ton. You'll have to ask him that. I think that's part of the reason he was interested in coming here.
Let's just say that Kyrie Irving and supposedly Kevin Durant as well had problems with Coach Atkinson, and so he was fired subsequently. And what was a shock fire?
Our style of play. I think we'll come to a meeting of the minds between me and him and how that works within the group.
I know Atkinson can be a little bit crazy sometimes, but it seemed like he was one of those coaches that would hold his star players accountable.
I didn't see this coach being the coach going forward.
Now, I think a lot of people misunderstand, and just, quite frankly, they just don't realize the contributions that Atkinson brought to this franchise. I mean, they were a bottom team for a while now after the KG and Paul Pierce trade ended up not really panning out. So he would be the one to develop these players, guys like Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell, Jeremy Lin. He would build a system in which these players could play around and develop.
This is white privilege. This does not happen for a black man. No experience whatsoever on any level as a coach.
NBA legend Steve Nash was now hired to be the Nets head coach, and you could see here Stephen A saying the things he said. I mean, it's just flat out wrong. Guys like Doc Rivers, Mark Jackson, Magic Johnson got their start without experience, and it's due to the fact that these guys are former NBA players and they have a closer connection to them.
Well, Kevin and I have a great relationship. We spend a lot of time together. We worked together formally with the Golden State Warriors, but even prior to that, at the end of my career and post-career, we worked together on the court.
So you could say at this point, Kevin Durant and Kyrie just got their buddy to be a head coach, all right? That's what the feeling was. That's what the vibe seemed to be after the bubble. You get a head coach in Steve Nash. That seems to be all buddy-buddy with the star players. And the season for the Nets, this would be the first season where Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would play. And oddly enough, a lot of interesting things happened.
We're just not good enough. The situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So, yeah, thanks.
This blockbuster trade will be made by the Nets and subsequent parties to try to get James Harden to play for them. Fortunately, this didn't work out too much in the playoffs.
Durant, here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes!
People all year long were talking about this shot where KD's foot was on the line. That was the main reason why the Bucks won that series. But Kevin Durant, he was 0 of 6 in that overtime where that was their chance to win that game. And Kevin Durant just came up short. And also the injuries part. I mean, KD was the one that wanted James Harden to be in his team. And so he really just should have stuck with Karis LeVert and Jared Allen being there.
Guarded by Holiday. Durant for 3. Comes up with an air ball.
KD now back in Brooklyn. I mean, at this point, KD has to have a good game, doesn't he? I mean, just look at him.
He's been outstanding on every level. Offensively, defensively, playmaking, rebounding.
This was honestly a much better start from KD. I mean, he did have some, lapses of judgment here and there, but he did make his shots at some points of the game. I mean, This wasn't just some good old Kevin Durant that was gonna be 0 of 10 in the second half, right?
Nick Claxton with big first halves. Tatum stolen by Durant.
Again, the turnovers, he'd still have them, but not as frequently, and he would this time make his shots and make this a game.
Off the turnover.
Alright, I guess they're still as frequent as before, but he would make his shots in this first half. This was a Kevin Durant that was more determined to be more aggressive, but they were still losing.
Aggressive move, Durant gets inside, missed it, but Bruce Brown right there to follow.
It's one thing to be as aggressive as KD was in the first half, but it's another to let Bruce Brown be the best player on the team?
Just a few or a handful of minutes. Tatum stolen by Bruce Brown. And throws it down.
He took more shots than KD and Kyrie, scored more points than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and he was just the engine of the team.
Brown kicks it out. Corner three for Tatum. Got it.
Jason Tatum scored more points in the fourth quarter than Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Bruce Brown combined. He scored more points in the game than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving combined.
Brooklyn's going to have to look for threes. Durant on the drive, back out. Irving stolen by Tatum.
At this point, the series would be a 3-0 series for the Celtics. And so the Nets really looking like they might get swept.
Probably should have took more shots, but I just tried to play the game the right way without being too aggressive or forcing turnovers. I didn't want to get no live ball ones, just playing one-on-one out at the top. I'm just thinking too much, to be honest, this whole series. A
lot of fans were still confident the Nets could still win a game, especially with Ben Simmons coming in.
Is in Brooklyn, and Woj is here with the very latest. Woj?
When Woj pops up like that, it means that there's some bad news to deliver.
I'm told that Ben Simmons came to the facility this morning, told the Nets that he was experiencing back soreness again.
Oh boy, so Ben Simmons, after all this, is not even going to play a single game during the season. That is absolutely pathetic.
We're going to look at this Brooklyn Nets team, particularly if they get swept in Game 4. Steve Nash ain't going to be back next year as the head coach of this franchise.
Now, one thing we're certainly not going to do here is blame Steve Nash for this disaster. I mean, Kyrie said it himself. I think it's also going to change the way we see coaches. I don't really see us having a head coach. You know what I mean? KD could be a head coach. I could be a head coach. I mean, these guys are to blame for all this.
Kevin Durant didn't show up at all, only attempted 11 shots. He was pretty much non-existent for most of the game offensively. Kyrie Irving didn't have it again, for the second game in a row.
I mean, the level of self-awareness Kyrie has is at an all-time low. This is just insane.
We're all just trying to gel, and usually you're gelling around the right time, and that team in the other locker room is gelling at the right time. They've been gelling since Christmas. I don't want to be too cliche, but I don't have a lot of answers for how you make up time, from October until now, when, usually teams would be gelling and things would be feeling good.
Why is a guy that didn't even play 50% of the game, he played 7% of the season, why is he talking about them not gelling? You're one of the main reasons why. And Kevin Durant, we gotta address some BS surrounding you.
He can't be viewed as the best player in the world when you're playing like this. And more importantly, it brings to light the fact that you decided to leave Golden State for this.
See, you guys always talk about that championship stuff. I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around talking about you're a champion.
This dude left Golden State to go to Brooklyn, trying to be the face of the franchise. And after losing in a 3-1 series lead to Golden State, he went and joined Golden State and had easy freebies to win as championships. And now we're going to talk about Kevin Durant being one of the best players in the world? Get out of here with that nonsense. Kevin Durant, I'd say this, he's not even top 5 in the world right now. I could name 5 people that are better than him. Curry, Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, and Tatum. That's 5 already. I don't have to name any more. It's it. It's over. We're done. There's no point in discussing this. Kevin Durant can argue all he wants on these Twitter spaces that he'd be going to. He can go to all of these boardroom shows that whatever the hell he's doing, it doesn't matter. KD, you're not gonna escape this. The slander is coming. You're about to get feasted on because oh boy, you're getting cooked out there. Not just on the court, but off the court too. I'm loving it.